What's up, guys? Welcome back to Two in the Zone. You have the one and only Dead Press Picks, one of my best friends on Twitter. And then you have me, Analytics Capper. Thank you guys for jumping on. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, due to our friends and our sponsor at Seven Sports. I just want to give a quick shout out to them. They've been doing this for a long time now. They just hit the 2,000 customer mark, so a lot of reputation that's positive, a lot of trust there, and they're offering an amazing promotion right now. Only people who are watching the show is going to be able to hear this, but basically if you sign up today and you deposit $100, Dead, you can get any game. You just need to let 7stacks know you can get any NBA game at plus 200. So it's basically free money, right? Max bet obviously is 50, so you could win $100. All you got to do is deposit $100. Just message or DM 7stack Sports. Let them know AC or Dead Press Picks sent you, and he'll hook you up. It's a limited number of people, so we usually average around 4,000 to 5,000 people who listen to the show. So the first 10, maybe the first 20, it's really his call. I don't know how busy he is today. But yeah, props to 7stack Sports. Even if you're not doing that promo, it's minus 105 lines for NFL and NBA all year long, 24/7 customer service. And the best thing is you get same day payouts if you're using cryptocurrency, so like Bitcoin or Ethereum. All right, Dad, let's get into last night's bets. How'd you do last night, first of all?
Yeah, 1-1 night, but my bigger play hit. So made a little bit of lunch money last night, AC. Had the Suns pretty that was my biggest play of the night. I knew you and I had on it. You called the perfect they'll win by 8 prediction.
Right.
So I wish we could get that on the screen for the people, but that was a good game. I know you and I talk about this all the time. When the star goes down, the other team wins, because we knew at halftime everyone was running to live bet the Warriors. So it kind of made me feel better when Book won out in a weird way. I know you said the same thing. My one loss of the night was the Raptors on the -3. They haven't been very good to me. I'm just going to avoid the Raptors for a little bit. They've been struggling. And then I did have another free play for the Lakers. Got the -4.5, so I had an awful line, but they pulled through because I took them before.
The LeBron news. Yeah. So let's dive into that first game real quick. So it was, the Grizzlies and the Raptors. Grizzlies won 98-91 on the road. Memphis is playing well without Ja Morant. Another example there where the star player is out and the team still just rallies around him and still wins. So I know you're on the Raptors there. I actually took an L in this game too. I was on the over. Because Memphis doesn't have a really good defense, and Toronto with Pascal plays really fast, but this went way under there. So anything else you want to add in this game?
Yeah, I'm with you. Again, another case of kind of that star player being out and, somehow, some way that the Grizzlies still get it done. Little concerned about the Raptors this season. I know they've kind of dealt with a lot of injuries. They haven't really had their full lineup, but they're a weird team, AC. They're really good on the road, and they have not been good in the 6 at Toronto. All right, let's talk about that Nets-Knicks game, AC, because this is one I don't know if you had any action on. We know, the Knicks have kind of came back to earth, right? They entered this game, just a couple games over 500. Some news we didn't get to hit on because we weren't on yesterday. Kemba Walker looks to be on the move, right? For the Knicks. Doesn't look like he will stay on the team. But they played a tough game here last night. They inserted Alec Burks into the starting lineup, and he was the leading scorer in the game. Harden played really well, maybe his best game this year, 34 points for him, 8 assists. I don't know if you had any action on this one, but what was your thoughts on this game?
I did. I had a small play on the Nets. I got it at 6.5. There was late movement that went back towards the Knicks. I would have laid off if I had seen that, if I was able to see that beforehand. But the Nets were up, double digits, maybe 9 points midway in the fourth, and the Knicks battled back. It's that Knicks grit from last year that's really keeping them afloat, because from a defensive standpoint, they're just not the same team. And then this whole Kemba news is kind of weird for New York. I mean, I can't back the Knicks. That's a great win if you were on the Knicks last night. And the Nets just seem to never cover in these big primetime spots, Yes, Harden played better and Durant is Durant, but they were up and they just let the Knicks come back there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it was a game again. I didn't have any action on, but it was a pretty tight game all the way through. So congrats to Knicks backers for that one. All right, AC, let's get into this one because you and I both hit pretty good on this. The Suns Warriors. This was the game of the night. This was probably the game of the season to this point. It was a little disappointing that we didn't get to see Booker, although like we said, in a weird way, it works out good for us. These teams, AC, they will meet again, and they will meet again shortly. I believe that they play Friday night. What was your thoughts on this? Because the Suns, they just can't be stopped at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, first thing is shout out to the Suns. They did not lose a game in the entire month of November. That's 17 straight wins dating back all the way to October. So props to them. They are now first place in the NBA. Heading into that game, the Warriors were 18-2, flying high. Phoenix, obviously, 17 straight wins heading into the game. They were 17-3, one game behind, and now the Suns are in first place, deservingly. They're just a great team. You and I both like Monty as a coach. One thing I'll say though is they need to scale back Chris Paul a little bit. I know last night was different because it was such a big game, and he's always going to get up when Steph Curry is on the other side. But he can't be playing this many minutes. And if Booker is going to be out a ton, then you're going to depend on Chris Paul in the fourth quarter. And I think he's, we both know he's the point god. He's a great closer. But if we're looking from a long-term perspective for the Suns, he needs to play 25, 28, 30 minutes max a night.
Yeah, I mean, the player that I was most impressed with last night, AC, without a doubt, was Mikal Bridges. I mean, this guy just took the assignment of Steph Curry and somehow, some way took Curry out of the game. I mean, we talk about stars when you limit, right? You're not going to stop Steph, but last night he was stopped by Bridges. And this is a guy, obviously living, right outside the city, watching him closely at Villanova. Sixers had him, AC, and we
know.
We let him go for Zaire Smith, and ask where Zaire Smith is now. So just another horrible decision by a Philly front office, and it pains me to watch him. I think
you guys by far would have had the craziest defense with him, Thybulle, and Ben Simmons. That's insane.
The length on that team, and even Embiid's a really good guarding, center at this stage. It's awful, but he is. I'm not going to say he's the most important player on that team, but he is a pivotal part of that team. Like the defense he provides. I think the role players the Suns have are the best in the league because Bridges.
Jay Crowder, man. Jay Crowder, yeah, he hits those big threes at the end. Like he doesn't do anything all game. He's like all talk, really tough, and then at the end he hits those two big threes. But speaking about Mikal, man, let's just give him first team all defense. Like he deserves it. First team, and he should be in the talk for Defensive Player of the Year.
And Cam Johnson's another one. AC comes off the bench, shoots the lights out. Pistons Blazers. Not sure if you had action in this one. Portland at home, man. I mean, they just don't lose. It seems like. And again, last night they did not lose. They covered that spread fairly easy. I believe they closed at like 7.5. Big game for Cade Cunningham. Got to give him some recognition because we've been a little hard on him on this show at times this season. But 26 points last night. AC 10 for 13 from the floor. Maybe more notably 5 of 7 from beyond the arc. So that's a big plus for him. Pretty quiet game. There was no Dame in this one, right? So needed some other guys to step up. CJ answered the call. Anthony Simmons, we know I've been really high on this kid since he came up. He was phenomenal in this game.
The surprise of the night was Ben McLemore, man. He dropped 17.
I was just looking at the stats. Where'd McLemore come from? Yeah, big game for him.
He basically scored a point. He scored a point a minute last night, and that's just really impressive.
It's not easy to do. Okay, yeah, but I know we didn't have a ton of action in that. So let's move along here. Final game we're going to wrap up, guys, and then we will get into what everyone came for tonight's slate. Lakers and Kings. This is, again, guys, this was a free play that I gave out, and I was not feeling good about it once I saw that line movement because obviously LeBron rolled out COVID protocols, so the Lakers will be without him for a little bit. They went into the locker room down 9, and then they ended up just beating the Kings up in the third quarter, outscoring them by 22. Third quarters have been the Lakers' kryptonite too this year, AC. But Anthony Davis, look, he answered the call. I was listening today to some people talking about Davis, and they made a good point. He should be putting up, when LeBron's not playing, he should be putting up 30 and 15 a night. He's that good. He should have the ball in his hands enough. Westbrook actually had a big third quarter, but we've been talking about the Kings all season, AC. What's wrong with this team? Is it just a bad team, you think?
It's a bad team. They just changed coaches, so everyone thinks there's a change of scenery or culture there. But it's Alvin Gentry. It's basically the same thing over and over. I hate backing the Kings, especially in Sacramento now. They've burned me too many times. Great job on the Lakers. I know you didn't get good COV there, but the better team was LA, even without LeBron. And honestly, even if LeBron was playing, Anthony Davis needs to be the best player anyways, right? LeBron is 37 years old in year 19. So Anthony Davis is in his prime. He needs to be the number one option. 30 and 15, maybe not realistic, but he should be above 25 and 12 or something like that. So that should be a daily night in and night out thing for AD. Let's get into tonight's game, Dead. You can go ahead and retweet the video. First game here, Timberwolves and Wizards. We actually like both teams. I know Timberwolves, burned you early, but they've been playing so much better as of late. This line started out as a Wizards -2.5. It's now all the way up to -4 at home in DC. Which side do you like in this one?
This is one, like you mentioned, AC, the line movement. If this thing keeps going up, I will maybe be back in the T-Wolves tonight. I think if it closed at like 5.5 or 6, if you hopped on it early, the Wizards, we've kind of talked about them. They started the year, obviously, red hot. They've kind of came back to earth a little bit. They're still playing at a good record, 13-8. A lot of guys on the injury report for the T-Wolves, so I guess we have to kind of wait and see. Vanderbilt's considered day-to-day. Anthony Edwards day-to-day. We know Jaden McDaniels is out. So they're a little bit beat up. They have some guys, obviously, you want to make sure Edwards goes if you're going to back the T-Wolves. But, if this thing closes at 5.5, 6, I think this would be a Timberwolves play for me. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I like the Timberwolves and how they're playing right now. The Wizards actually are kind of up and down. They have a really elite offense. They're averaging over 106 points a game. But the Timberwolves are now above 500. They're averaging 108 a game. They're 6-7 against the spread away from away, and they're on a 2-game winning streak. So the better team right now, as of December 1st, is Minnesota. But I don't know if I could back them on the road. This one's tough. This is probably a layoff for me, Dead. Let's go into the next game here. We have, let's see. We have the Hawks and the Pacers. I'll just go ahead and do this first. It's a free play for me. I already sent it in, but I like the over here. It opened up at 215.5. I got it at 217.5. I think it's around 218 now, depending on your book. But the Hawks are not very good at home, away from Atlanta. They're a very elite team at home, but they're just not good on the road. With that being said, I think they kind of step up today. I think offensively, they're going to do well. The Pacers kind of play a quick pace, and they are very efficient, right? They have players that shoot above 45%, a lot of them. Brogdon, Turner, Sabonis, even LeVert. So there are a lot of scores on that team. So I like the over tonight, 217.5. What about you, Dad?
This is one, AC. I think it's a Pacer spot for me. I do like them here at home tonight. Atlanta won, 7 in a row, right? And then they had that tough loss to the Knicks. But this is a Pacers team that I think is way better than their record shows, right? They're displaying a 9-14 record. They've lost 3 of their last 4, including a loss on the road to the T-Wolves, lost that game by 2. Got beat up at home by the Bucks, really bad on Sunday. But I want to see if Miles Turner ends up going. He's questionable. He was ruled out last game as well. So it's a spot for me that I think that this is a good Pacers play. With the way the line is, like you mentioned, also AC Hawks struggle on the road a little bit. I do lean with you though on the over as well in that game. All right, AC, let's move along here. Nuggets and Magic. We mentioned the Magic. You know what? I told you when they played my Sixers were getting too many points. Again here, they're getting 8
You
tonight.
capped that game. You capped that game perfectly. You had Sixers first
First half,
half, and
right?
then you also leaned Magic for the game. That was
It's,
perfect.
it's a Sixers thing, AC. I'm used to it by now, but we know they're banged up now. Jalen Suggs, also banged up. So it's so tough to back this team. Also, Bones Highland, he was just announced out for a few more games, so he will be out of the lineup tonight. Austin Rivers out of the lineup tonight. We know Michael Porter Jr. season's over. Still no Jamal Murray. So this is not the normal Nuggets team, but they're laying 8 on the road. What do you think about this?
I mean, first of all, shout out to Jokic. He played against Miami Heat in Miami. There was a lot of hoopla heading into that game because of the whole, scuffle that happened in Denver. Even Jokic's 6'11" brothers came to the show and came to the game and watched courtside, and Jokic balled out. He beat Miami on the road as like a 7-point underdog. So props to him and props to the team. I'm gonna go the other way. I kind of like Orlando. I know you said it's really hard to back them at home, but Cole Anthony's back tonight. He's their number one scorer. I think there's going to be a little bit of a letdown for the Nuggets, so I lean the Magic tonight.
Yeah, it's just they're a tough team to back, AC. But if I did have a lean on a side, with all the injuries the Nuggets have had to encounter, and you mentioned they're coming off a big road win, maybe they do regress a bit tonight. All right, this is probably the best game of the night. The Sixers Celtics. We know about this rival. Obviously, they're both 11-10. Both have been kind of injury plagued, right? We know Philly. They've been without Embiid them over half of the season. Harris has been out a lot. Danny Green's been out. But the Celtics, they've had to deal with injuries too. Jaylen Brown, he hasn't been there for a decent amount of their games. Philly, though, they're getting points tonight here, AC, at +3. I'll let you go first because I don't want to get my bias into this, but I'll see what your thoughts are on this game tonight.
You're going to love what I think. So they're both 11-10. They're pretty mediocre right now after 21 games. But the Sixers actually cover really well on the road. Out of 11 games on the road, they've covered 7 of them. So they're 7-4 against the spread on the road. I like the points here. I like Philadelphia. They still have the best player in Joel Embiid. They're getting more healthy. Players 1 to 5, it has to go to Philly without Jaylen Brown in Boston. So give me Philly here. I think if both teams were super healthy, and this was like game 1 of the playoffs and everyone's gearing up for it, I think that the Sixers would be favored. So give me the better team. Give me Philly tonight.
Yeah, I kind of question this line a bit. I mean, I know it's in Boston, but it's not like a crazy spot for the Sixers. They're getting healthy finally. Embiid's finally back in the lineup. Seth's finally back in the lineup. Tobias. So they're getting there, right? And I still think they're one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, Ben this year, of course, that hurts. But, Maxey, he's been able to get it going all season long. And again, like I said, the biggest point, they're finally healthy. I don't think they have the bodies to be able to compete down low in this game. I think Philly wins this thing outright, and I think they win this thing fairly easy. So I think getting 3 in this spot is kind of absurd in this type of game.
Agreed.
Cavs Heat, right? We know the Heat. They're another team starting to get injury plagued a little bit. Jimmy Butler's been out. Hero's been in and out of the lineup. -4.5 though against this Cavs team, and the Cavs talk about injuries. We know we've kind of headlined their injuries as well. But if you look at the Heat's injury report, it looks like a grocery shopping list right now. Markieff Morris out, Butler day to day, Hero day to day, Bam day to day, Dwayne Dedmon day to day. I mean, it's hard to say right now, but what's your thoughts on this game tonight?
I think this is the sucker bet of the night. I think everyone's going to assume that Miami's going to bounce back, right? They were at home against Denver and got, beat up by Jokic. Cavs just beat Dallas on the road as a 6.5-point underdog. They beat them by like 20 points. So Cavs are playing well. I bet everyone's going to, go Miami here or even Miami parlay, something like that. But give me the Cavs. I think they're a great young team. Evan Mobley is back. Darius Garland is playing out of his mind. And this line suggests to me that there's going to be no Bam, there's going to be no Jimmy Butler. And even if they do play, I don't think they're really going to get up for the Cavs. The Cavs, low key, are actually really, they have the same record as the Sixers, right? We think the Sixers are one of the best teams in the NBA, and I agree with you. But as of right now, December 1st, they have the same record, 11-10 overall. And the Cavs are 15-5 against the spread, one of the best teams at covering the spread in the NBA. So I like Cleveland tonight, man.
Yeah, it's tough to fade them because I mean, all of a sudden they're a little hot again, back-to-back wins. They beat up on your Mavericks on the road, but injuries they just keep getting them. Now Jetty Osman out, Dean Wade, a guy who's actually been in the starting lineup a lot this season, but they've just had guys step in and step up. Right now, Markkanen back, Mobley back, so they haven't been able to get fully healthy. We know Sexton will be out for an extended period of time, so. It's tough to say. I don't really want to say right now because if those guys are all in, this thing's going to skyrocket to like 8 or 9. I mean, it's going to shoot up. But if, like you're saying, the line currently is saying they don't all play. Maybe one goes, maybe, I don't know who does, who doesn't. All right, let's move along here. Hornets and Bucks. But AC, real quick, let's reset the room. We are doing this episode sponsored by our friends at 7 Stack Sportsbook. AC mentioned this crazy promotion, guys, and I want to give it to you guys one more time for people who are just joining now. If you sign up today, you can get any NBA spread at plus 200. Okay, so if you want to bet, I'm big on the Sixers tonight at plus 3. I think AC also was liking the Sixers. If you want to get the Sixers at plus 3 instead of, whatever the typical line is, now you can get it at plus 200. Minimum deposit, guys, of $100. Max bet allowed on that is $50, but make sure you take advantage. I mean, it's a crazy deal from our friend at 7 Stacks. Make sure you guys follow them on Twitter as well at 7 Stacks Sports. All right, AC, let's get into the final 4 games of the night. We got the Hornets and the Bucks. Bucks, all of a sudden, they look like that team that just won the championship, right? They are scorching hot to close November, and they're getting 9 tonight at home against the Hornets. Is that too many points, you think, against LaMelo Ball and company tonight?
It's a lot of points. Even if you look at that total, I believe it's the highest of the night, right at 230 and a half. Both teams are elite offensive teams. They don't really – they play defense when it matters, but they play really fast. So I kind of like the over there. As far as points, man, it's hard to back – it's hard not to back the Bucks is what I'm trying to say. They've been so good. 5 straight. They're 4-1 against the spread in the last 5, covering the last 4. Again, they just beat Indiana. I was on the Pacers that game in Indiana, and they just blew them out by 18. So the Bucks are rolling. Their offense is humming. And if Giannis is just too much for the Charlotte Hornets inside, I don't know. Maybe it is going to be a chalk game. Maybe the Bucks are going to blow them out. What do you think?
I finally see a total over 230, and I have it 230 and a half, 231, and I have to take it under here. It's scary because the tempo that both of these teams play at. But, these totals this year, AC, it's like 212, 205. So,
yeah.
I'm a big under better. College, I do a ton of unders, but I haven't this year in the NBA because the totals scare me because I'm like 203. It's going to scorch over, and the game ends up like 88-84. So, I'm going to take the under on this game tonight. I'm with you, fading the Bucks. It just doesn't sound fun. You look at it, it's like the Jazz. You look at it, they're getting 9. The Hornets are a good team. They end up losing by 30. So I kind of think that this favors an under because I do think the Bucks roll in this game. And hopefully fourth quarter we get some bricks up, some bench guys. But, yeah, the Bucks are a good defensive team, like you said, when they want to be. Hopefully they want to be tonight for my bet's sake. Your Mavericks tonight, AC, and the Pelicans. We say it every show. The Pelicans.
Every show.
Respectful line again to the Pelicans. I think it was Sunday night, Saturday, I don't know, Monday night. I think we were like, all right, live bet the Clippers, right? They're like plus 300. They're playing the Pelicans. They're going to go on a run. The Pelicans held off every single run that they went on. Jonas Valanciunas turned into Ray Allen from beyond the arc. You text me, say, look at Valanciunas' stats. I didn't believe you because he had like 30 in the first half, and it was all from 3. But I love your Mavericks tonight on the road.
No.
Listen, I know. They're scary to back on the road, but they're coming off 2 losses. You know I'm a big bounce back better. And the Pelicans, they're a little hot right now. You see, I think it's time for them to cool off after that win against the Clippers. This is if Porzingis goes, and it was like day to day every day. So I'm going to wait to make sure he's officially in. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm gonna defer to you. I don't think I'm gonna have a play on this. The Mavericks are just so hard to back. They
Uh-huh.
were, 7-point favorites and lost outright. They were 6.5-point favorites and lost outright to the Cavs. Now they're 3.5-point favorites. It makes all the sense in the world, right? They're coming off 2 bad losses, and the Pelicans are coming off a very impressive win in LA. Um, I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard to back my team right now. Even the Cowboys, right? It's hard to back the Cowboys in football as well. But with
Yeah.
that being said, I agree with you. I think Dallas is a way better team. There's no way New Orleans can hang with them. But yeah, like props to New Orleans beating LA. Like I took the bait. I did Clippers live. I pressed that half as well. And Jonas Valanciunas is one of 3 players in the history of the NBA to go 7 for 7 threes in the first half.
I have no words for Valanciunas. I just want to move along here to the next game, AC, because this is another one. We've talked about this Thunder team, right, this season. What is your thoughts on this game? Because they are the slight favorite tonight. And I got to say, the Rockets are hot, and it's scaring me because they have their team total under on wins, and now they have 4. Not happy about this. These teams just played Monday night, and the Rockets, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. They beat the hell out of them in that game. We know we're big Shea Gilgeous-Alexander fans. We're big Josh Giddey guys. Shea stepped up, played well, but as a team, they shot 35%, and they shot 16% from 3. So you got to imagine they shoot a little bit better in this game tonight. But the Thunder being a favorite, I like the Thunder. I think they bounce back after that loss. What's your thoughts on this? Did the Rockets get 4 in a row?
Yeah, so this is actually the 4th time that they're already playing this season. It's only, December 1st, and they've already played 3 times prior. All 3 times the away team has sucked. All 3 times the away team has shot under 35%, and all 3 games the total has gone under. So I think there's a regression here tonight. I think the away team, the Rockets, are going to shoot a lot better. I kind of lean with you. I think OKC may get the win tonight. But I kind of look at the over. The first 3 games, like I said, of the series have gone under. So give me the over tonight. But that could just be, playing the do game. And every time you do that in sports gambling, it doesn't really work out. But from a number standpoint, you can't expect the away team to continue to shoot sub 40%.
Yeah, I do think that this is a nice little bounce back spot for the Thunder. These teams just met. Not the best matchup, but I think the Thunder will have the best player on the court tonight in Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I think their 3-point shooting comes up a little bit from what it was last time. Got to hope they don't shoot 16% again and they get the win. All right, final game of the night, AC. We were just talking about, the Kings, how bad they've been. Now here they come out tonight. They are a 8-point underdog. Clippers haven't been great either. 11-10 on the year. We mentioned that they just lost to the Pelicans at home. So maybe a bounce back spot for the Clips tonight. You think they cover this 8-point spread tonight?
Yeah, this is a great bounce back for them. They've lost 2 in a row. They're only 11-10. Man, there's a lot of 11-10 teams in the NBA right now.
League.
Yeah. On their home floor, they're only 6-9 against the spread. The Kings actually play a lot better on the road compared to in Sacramento. But I think Harrison Barnes is actually a really big miss for the Kings. He really closes out games well for them. He shoots over 80% from the free throw line, and he's a solid defender. Without him, you just have a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off, to be honest. Like, the Kings have all this talent in the world, but they don't play as a team. They don't run any offense. I think Halliburton should be the starting point guard and De'Aaron Fox should be the off guard. But that's not really happening. It's just not working out in Sacramento. I can't back the Kings. I know the Clippers have lost 2 straight, but this is a Clippers play for me.
Yeah, this is a Clippers first half play for me, AC, and I actually like that play a lot at -4. I think they come out here early and just kind of beat up on them, right? It's a back-to-back for the Kings. where they were actually home last night. I know it's not like a big travel difference, but it's still back to back, right? And you mentioned Harrison Barnes he was their best player of the season. I mean, there was no doubt about it. He's been by far the catalyst for them. You look at their stats last night, like Rashawn Holmes is their leading scorer. Fox hasn't been nearly himself. We mentioned maybe the rule changes are getting him a little bit. Buddy's Buddy, right? He's either hot or he's cold. Halliburton, he's kind of struggled a little bit this year. So there's just nothing like that I would enjoy backing this Kings team with. I think it is a good fade spot for the Kings tonight, and I think that it's definitely a good spot to take a first half play with the Clippers. But AC, we managed to knock all the games out tonight with a nice recap of last night as well. Again, we want to thank our friends at 7 Stack Sports. Make sure you guys follow them on Twitter. One final reminder, tonight 7 Stacks is running a massive promo, plus 200 on any side. So if you guys want to bet the Sixers plus 3 like AC and I are thinking about doing, you can get it at what it's typically at minus 105 on 7 Stacks. It's another big benefit of being with them. They reduce the juice there at minus 105, but you can get it at plus 200 tonight. So if you want to take any side, not just that game, make sure you DM 7 Stack Sports right there on the screen, or you could DM AC or myself, and we will get you directed to him. But make sure you guys take advantage of this massive promotion from 7 Stacks. AC, you want to close us out, and we will call it a day?
Yeah, thank you, Dad. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on. It is December, so it's holiday season. The flu is going around, so everyone be safe with that. Definitely, have fun with your family. We'll be back on Friday. Good luck, everyone, on your